Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation on investing, retirement, and everything in between.
At Full Swing Financial Planning, we're here to empower you to take control of your plan, your way, for your financial future.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Cole and Cole. I am your host, Bailey Ashbrook. And boys, welcome. School, I need school to start.
Yes, definitely need school to start.
We all need that.
I'm struggling. I'm not going to lie.
Need some kid routines.
Yeah.
I'm not built as a summer mom.
I just don't like the bedtime non-routine. It really gets to me.
Well, and then the mornings, my kids are just like, they know they don't have to like really start the day strong, so they're just fighting me on everything.
I feel like most of the world's going through, or the U.S. is going through this. That's on the similar, summer schedule. I know like Arizona and stuff, it's interesting. They do a lot of this like real hot areas. They like rotate.
It's like full year.
School. Yeah, full school, but they're off like certain periods of time, and they're in school during really, really hot times, to where when it's nice
Smart.
in the fall, they have 3 weeks off, things there. I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of nice. But yeah, it's just, chaotic. I think we're all scheduled people in this room, and the summer just ruins the schedule.
And then football starts when school starts, which is the greatest time of year, I think.
I love
my
football.
gosh, Luke was like, it smells, I can just feel fall coming.
We're
I was
getting
like,
close to that
okay.
time where it's like, hey,
Yeah.
after a football preseason game, like you have football basically every week for the next, half a year or whatever it is. So
Yeah, we don't have a lot of sports to talk about today because there's nothing
USA.
going on except the Olympics, which is
USA.
great. The Olympics are fun to watch, but there's nothing other than that on it.
If you
especially at
guys
night.
could compete in one Olympic sport, if you made it to the Olympics, which nobody is
compete,
near-
compete or like win, like be good at.
like compete and be good, like competitively be in the Olympics, and it can't be like golf outside your favorite sport.
Okay,
Like I can't pick basketball. What sport would you participate?
I got mine.
Okay, Colby.
I would definitely want to be like the fastest man on the planet and be the track and
Dude,
field
I was
star.
going to say track for sure. I was going to say track. Like Usain
Yeah.
Bolt running through, or it was
Oh
like
my
Michael
gosh.
Phelps, like being the fastest swimmer. One of those two.
You want to be a
how cool-
triathlon?
No, how cool would it have been to be Usain Bolt?
Oh
I mean,
my gosh, man. That
Joseph,
was so
Joseph was
crazy.
telling me this the other day, and he looks up all these crazy stats. He said that Usain Bolt, to this day, still makes $90 million a year on sponsorships.
Oh,
Isn't that nuts?
I believe it.
I mean, he's still on a lot of Nike commercials and all
Puma,
that stuff.
Puma, right?
Yeah,
think he's
I
a
mean
big
that
Puma
is
guy.
that is nuts. $90 million a year.
you know what I thought you were gonna say?
What?
Surfing, because you so love the ocean. Colby is afraid of the ocean.
I'm afraid of sharks.
Which
I'm
are
not
in
afraid of
the
the ocean. I'm afraid
that
of
stage
sharks.
though for the track and field is pretty cool. Like when they're doing the 100-meter and stuff, like the big stadiums, and that's a really, really neat time.
What would you participate in?
I mean, definitely, it's probably in the same boat of like
Wow.
the sprinter or I think swimming. Swimming's always really highlighted, like men's swimming. It seems like it's a real popular one. Obviously, I was watching the Olympics with Michael Phelps winning, multiple gold medals for multiple years.
94
So
gold
cool.
medals.
Yeah, I mean that was amazing. Talk about a guy too, still sponsorships
oh,
and
yeah,
all
still a hot topic.
involved in a lot of athletics.
What
feel
about
like-
you, B?
I think I'd do beach volleyball. It's
fun
fun
to watch.
It's fun. I like volleyball. Like it would be fun to be outside, sand, 2-on-2.
Did you
and
see-
your teammate?
Did you see which a lot of people are saying it's the best backdrop in Paris, but the beach volleyball court is at the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah,
See,
Like that's pretty cool.
That is pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I'm just spiking on someone's face with the Eiffel Tower behind me.
I was watching table tennis this weekend. No, ping pong. It's
would
pretty
be
intense.
fun.
It's pretty intense in the
I told
Olympics. I'm like, oh my gosh.
I told Lily that was an Olympic sport, and she was like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm 100%."
Is
sure."
pickleball? Pickleball's an Olympic
no,
I don't
sport,
think
yeah.
yet.
It's
I'm
got
sure
to
it's
be
coming.
Probably
soon.
will
I'm
be
sure it's
coming.
coming. Yeah.
What would be yours, Caleb? What would you pick?
I don't know. Probably I was thinking track and field too, because
Yeah.
it's whenever you watch that,
the
I feel like
glamour of it?
yeah.
There's no NASCAR driving in. That was a serious question. I didn't think so.
There's no racing in it because it's too. Each series is so different. So to like pull drivers from these different countries, it wouldn't really even be fair because every car drives so different.
It's
so
there's no like motorsports other than biking, which does not have a motor, but that's like the only
I don't think
there's any
cycling and biking. And
I was
like
looking them up because
mountain
there's
biking and
so
stuff.
many.
Yeah.
Well, we found this out right before the podcast. Baseball is not a part of the Olympics anymore.
Yep.
Even though Major League Baseball players were not allowed to do it anyway, but that was a surprise to me. I did not know that.
Well, there's no baseball, but there's trampoline gymnastics. So
Well, there you go. And there's synchronized diving. We were watching that the other night, and it's like, this is
that
wild.
would be. I
That is
think
kind
that
of
would be the
amazing to
scariest
watch.
sport, or the diving, the high diving.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
like,
like any of that stuff.
absolutely not.
Oh, that'd be
The
fun.
Team USA the girls took silver. In
Yeah.
that. I was
Yeah.
watching that.
That was sweet. We love doing this podcast for you guys. I know the guys love spending time with me while I drill them on questions, but honestly, the best way we can get this great advice out to other people is make sure you like, subscribe, follow us, find us, share this information with someone that could find it useful. We really appreciate it. We put a lot of work into this, and we just wanted to help others. So please do all of the above. So today we're going to talk about the importance of having a financial plan, which if you've listened to this show, we're going to probably have 5 more different versions of this show because we believe it's super important, because it is. So we're going to talk
Knowledge is power.
Yes, applied knowledge is power. What is financial planning? Who should have a financial plan? Why you should have a financial plan, and how you can get a quality financial plan. So Cole Peterson, what is financial planning?
So a financial plan isn't always geared towards a certain demographic. So what is a financial plan? It's where we're going to put together and gather information on where your money's at, where it's going, what you're doing with that money, how you're planning for the future. So there's a lot that goes into it, right? But not just money, but also insurance. Couple other things that go into that. It's just a lot of what your objectives are with that money and how you're planning for the future. So how are we going to spend that money in the future too? So there's a lot that goes into what is a financial plan we're going to put together for you, and we're going to gather a lot of information from you to do that.
I think it's a good way to benchmark and ask the question yourself, like, what do I need to improve? Right? So like, say you are going along pretty well, or you feel like, hey, I'm contributing to my 401k. I've got a nice budget. What areas can I improve on? And I think a financial plan a lot of times can point that out of like, oh, hey, I have these objectives, but I can do it quicker if I do this, this, and this, and that's one big thing is sometimes you don't need, a lot of the front end guidance, but it's like, hey, where am I actually heading? And it helps you make some of those future decisions as well.
So in a simple way, it's an approach to getting someone financial advice to hit their goals, main concerns, and stay aligned with their values. Is that a good way of putting it?
I would say so. Another one would be, planning for, unanticipated risks or things that happen, early death, long-term care.
What's that? Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you go into that?
Like some of those are the ones that we talk about all the time, or, the what if scenarios, not like, hey, everything's, perfect and you're, contributing, things stay the same. But what happens if, we're hearing this right now locally or somewhat locally, but John Deere's been laying off a lot of people. Like what happens if I lose my job? Those type of scenarios, or what happens if, I get an illness and can't work, or a disability, certain type of things there. So the financial plan you can go through, especially if what I love is about the software we use, we can throw in, different types of scenarios and say, well, what if the market sucks for the first 6 years? We retire if or we get way worse returns than expected. Is it still going to be able to, are we still going to be able to perform and get to that end objective?
Another thing that we see a lot is not that someone doesn't have a financial plan, but they are just putting money into accounts, and they're not really like, what's the guide of that account? What are we doing? What's the objective of that account? So not that people are doing it wrong if they haven't met with a financial planner, but they probably don't have as much guidance as we can give them. Like your 401k will be designated for, say your, income and retirement, or to pay for, long-term care policy, or however you want to designate it. And your Roth money will be your inherited money that you're going to give to your kids. And that, we'll just define it a little bit better for you, instead of you putting money into an account and just trying to make as much money as possible.
It's the why,
yes, I was
right?
just gonna
The
say,
why
do
you own
it?
something, and it gives you the clarity of, I think, clarity and confidence, right? When you do the financial planning process go through, I love that like aha moment of like, oh, I understand that this is why I want to max out my 401k. I do like to compare the financial plan, or say it's like going to your doctor for your annual physical, right? So once you kind of get in that, like I built the plan, did all the front end work, and then we're checking in and kind of ongoing, seeing how it's building. It's making sure you're doing things correctly moving forward, or you're trending always in the correct direction, or the direction to meet your objectives.
I think there's a big misunderstanding too. Like, who should have a financial plan? Like, Cole Peterson, we talk about this a lot. We think it's just older people who have accumulated the plan and they're ready to retire. Like, obviously, a plan can be for many people, many ages. Like, who should have a plan?
So it's not everybody. I mean, as far as who should meet with a financial planner, who should have a plan, it's got to be someone that wants to participate and wants to, you know, if we ask you for your 401k statement, you know, provide that to us, and you want to make a plan. So it's more people that want to plan for there are some people that do not want to plan for the future. They want to kind of live that, you know, day-to-day type of life, and they're
fly
not
by the seat of their pants.
Right. And that's fine. But that doesn't work with with financial planning. You got to be able to contribute is not as much as we're going to contribute, because obviously we're getting paid to do it. But when we need information from you, we've got to have your participation. So
they're serious about working with you. Like, you're going to have a little homework and I'm going to participate and do the homework is what you're saying.
That's a good way to put it. They got to be serious to work with us, because we're going to be serious about your plan. You don't want us to be put in half and tell you we're going to get something to you and not do it. So you've got to do the same thing on your end. So it doesn't necessarily, there isn't a certain age that you need a financial plan. I would say, obviously, the closer do you get to retirement, the more important it becomes. But I've done financial plans for someone that's 18, and I've done financial plans for someone that's 78. It depends on how that person wants to
the
have
characteristics of a person ready to do it.
I think, I think it's someone who obviously is a proactive thinker, but they're also, you got the person, I'll give two examples. So you got the person's like, hey, I want to retire at 55. I want to do this, and this, how much spending. They've got some definite objectives. A financial plan will help them, clarify how to do that. What are the mechanics it's going to take to do that? Now, if you're super high income earner and you don't spend very much money, and you say, you might be able to get there pretty easily, versus the other person like, well, I'm going to work. Like, I plan on working as long as I physically can. I don't care. I don't care. That person's probably not, doesn't need to sit down with us, because they're not going to be driven to give us the data we're going to need. It's going to be more seen as a waste of their time. But it is that person that does have a definite set of objectives of like, hey, I want to accomplish this, or I want to make sure my kids, and financial planning is such a broad topic.
Because it covers so many areas of your financial life.
And we focus on retirement planning mostly just because that's the scope of our clientele and our listeners. But education planning, debt, budget management, all that type of stuff falls under that topic.
So everyone has a financial plan. It's whether or not that financial plan is with a financial planner. So that person you're talking about they have a financial plan. It's just not with us or with somebody else. They've got it maybe in their head, or they've got a spreadsheet of their own. And that, like Cole said, that's fine. That there are do-it-yourselfers out there. I've got a relative that's a do-it-yourselfer, and he doesn't want my help, and that's fine. But he also has the track and the spreadsheets and everything that he's organized. He's done it all the work himself. So whether you want to do that work yourself or not is whether or not you want to meet with us. And then if you want to put in the little extra effort that we need you to get us the information. And
I feel like it really comes to who should have a plan is like, who wants to be smart with their money? Who wants to hit these goals? Like, those are the people to me that like work with us, or people like, hey, I kind of know what I'm doing, or I do know what I'm doing, but I really want guidance. I want to make sure my money is making the most that I can do with it. And they're ready to make the decision. Like, you guys get the information from them, you put together the plan, and they're also ready to implement the plan. Like, they're going to take the next step and make the smart moves you guys gave them.
Take some emotion out of it, right? So the financial plan you'll sit and like, well, I want a new car. Does the plan say, is it justified in our budget, or does it impact our long-term, goals? Like, oh, hey, we want that house at Okoboji, but we're going to take $200,000 out of a retirement account to be able to put as a down payment, right? It makes you make those rational, put it on paper and see it. Now, obviously, some people are always going to say, I really want that, an emotion takes sense, but kind of trumps everything else. But I really do. It helps. I have a lot of people that go through that, especially with a major purchase. I'm like, well, what's the smart decision, or what's the math say? And then maybe what's the emotional side of it, and trying to weigh out what the best option is long-term. It's
more of a partner deal. We have to be in it with you, and we cannot be more emotionally involved than you are, because it doesn't work then. But I think being emotionally involved is good for people with their finances, and wanting to see it on paper or see it on our big screen that, hey, we're doing the right things. We can accomplish our goals. That's where the people that really should have a financial plan are going to want to see that.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital.
Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market.
Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026 or visit our website www.spinmarket.com.
Let's do a little dollars and cents.
Dollar Olympics.
Woo, USA.
They did practice that off mic, just so
Don't
everyone knows. But all right, we got, it's kind of the Olympic talk track today. So I got my Googler out, preparing for this, and I wanted to know some just interesting,
Nerding
facts.
out.
Yeah, facts about the Olympics.
I love the Olympics.
So here's one I thought was kind of interesting. So the 6 colors: blue, yellow, black, green, red, and white. They're the background colors of the Olympic flag, and the reason that was chosen that every nation's flag contains at least one of those colors.
All connected.
I know.
Yeah. How many countries are there? Do we know? Probably shouldn't ask a question.
Yeah,
we did research
pause.
before. Yeah. But that is amazing that all those colors can encapsulate.
Someone really thought that through.
Yeah, for sure. And then they did the background checking for that.
Or that's, I was like, what happens if someone changes their flag? That's
You're out.
They're just pink and turquoise or something like that.
Whatever body is over all the countries is you must, if you're going to change your flag, you have to pass this set of colors.
Yeah, at least have to have one of these colors.
I got one more. I found this one kind of interesting. Was the 2012 London Games were the first Olympic Games in which all participating countries sent female athletes.
Let's go.
So before that, some countries just sent male athletes.
Yeah.
Didn't do any okay.
Yep. Or it was maybe not allowed. Or
That seems
cultures.
like way too
Read
long.
that again.
Yeah. So 2012 was the first, that was the London Games, the first Olympic Games in which all participating countries sent female athletes. So there was a female athlete from every country.
So before that, some countries were just still only sending men, which seems so archaic to us. But
we're not living in those countries.
But those countries, you don't know what
the other thing that it could be too with that, because you're like, well, it seems like really recent, is there are some countries that send one athlete.
Yeah.
And so when you have that, you're not going to have both.
They're not competing in a lot of sports, or they only have, maybe 5 sports that country's competing in total.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So that could be part of it too.
I wonder if the United States participates in every sport there is. I would think that we would send a team for everything that's available for the Olympics.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe there's not, but if there's not, we should find that sport and
I'm sure,
start
I'll
doing
Google
that.
it and let you know. I'll Google it and let you know at the end.
We might have a group here. We have 4. We could have table tennis doubles.
Well, we were talking about the chances of being an Olympic athlete before this. I'm like, that'd be, the whole experience of knowing you are selected from your country to go play a sport. Are you kidding me?
What do you get paid to win a medal? Don't you get paid X amount from the U.S. to win a medal?
We're asking.
We got all these questions. It's interesting.
I have
topic,
the answer
though.
to that one.
It's an interesting topic, though.
So I saw it on Facebook last night, and it was USA, a gold medal bonus is like $40,000 or something like that. So in Hong Kong, if you win a gold medal, the bonus was like $785,000 is what the Olympic, their country would give them.
Wow. Yeah, that's a big difference.
Well, think about it, though. Some of the
should
sports
move to Hong Kong and then...
Yeah. Still got a place, though, right?
Yeah, I was like, you got a chance.
But think about some of the sports that aren't mainstream professional sports. Like maybe fencing has a big pool purse of money. I don't know, but like fencing, for example, I'm guessing they're not winning crazy amounts of money. But you win the Olympics and you win $40,000-$50,000 plus your.
Listen, I have a gold medal. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, most of them aren't doing it for the money. Yeah, they're for the love of the sport.
But I think on your point, we were talking about this before. Like, if you asked my son, would you rather play in the NBA and win an NBA championship or play in the Olympics and win a gold medal? I think he would say NBA.
Yeah, it's just different for different sports, probably. But I just think, gosh, like only so many are selected and get a chance.
I think you get more proud as a citizen as you get older. I think it's a youth thing of like they really idolize like NFL players, NBA players, those stuff. But as you age, and like even me as an athlete, I would have said that younger too. I'd have been like, I didn't even watch the Olympics till I got to college. Till the 2012 Olympics were the first ones I really paid attention to.
You like understand the magnitude of the Olympics, like athletes from all around the world, like personally selected, and only so many are selected. I don't know. It's just, I think the whole thing.
Well, some sports
and your
also,
whole sport you've been playing your entire life.
Well, in some sports, the pinnacle is the Olympics.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You know, you think of track and field.
Wrestling.
Yes.
Track
Wrestling
and field. The pinnacle is the Olympics, where I would say the pinnacle for basketball is an NBA championship.
I know. I bet Caitlin Clark's like, dang, I wish I was there.
This was another. This is a little bonus fact for you.
All right.
1992 was the last year. So the Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics used to be hosted in the same year.
Yep.
1992 was the last year that happened. So from 1924 to 1992, it was they were on the same year, same cycle.
I was having to explain to my son also why basketball was part of the Summer Olympics. He was like, "Wait, it's a winter sport," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, but it's not played outdoors. It's." But then there's some that are in the Winter Olympics that are like actually like summer sports. I can't think of an example, but it is kind of strange how that happens.
Which, if you think about it, the Olympics being, or the basketball being a summer sport actually means the NBA players can play in it.
That's
be in the middle of their season.
I think that's why they do it that way. Correct.
Yeah.
Which wrestling is unique though, because wrestling's in winter, and a lot of times you'll see like the elite college athletes or like best wrestlers, they'll take a year off sometime of college.
So the wrestling is in the Winter Olympics?
Yeah, it's in the Winter Olympics.
I did not know that.
So you'll see that happen. So
you can always see a wrestler from a mile away. I was telling someone that the other day. It's like you just know they're a wrestler.
Shout out to our wrestling fans out there.
I better fact check that actually. Caleb, you better fact check. Make sure that the wrestling
we need like you on
I'm worried. I'm actually worried that I just said that wrong.
I actually think that might not be true because I saw something that Drake Ayala is there.
I think I'm wrong. I just realized that I was
he's there as a mentor or like a coach for one of the other people.
You're right. You're completely right. I'm wrong. Completely wrong on that.
Bad example, Cole J.
That's okay.
Enough nerding now.
But that's another winter sport playing in the summer then. Yes, so it is on the other side of that. But fact check, correct. Yes. I did kind of correct myself as I'm like, I think that's wrong.
Our financial advice is sharp. Our Olympic advice not as sharp.
The wrestling is Summer Olympics.
Well, it about got removed from the last go around. It was off the Olympic Committee removed it, and then there was
wondering, how do you get on the Olympic Committee? That's what I want to know. All right. Well, a lot of fun facts there. A lot of facts we don't have the answers to. So thank you, Google, for being a thing. So let's get back into the topic, the importance of having a financial plan. So I think one of the biggest thing is your why, and why should you have a financial plan? Cole Jaskey.
It's for me, it always starts with seeing your finances holistically or as a whole, right? All the pieces of the puzzle, whether good or bad, put them on paper, put them into a plan, and you can see, right? And it really paints that picture. And then, and then it helps you move forward of how to make those financial decisions that can impact that plan, good or bad, right? Or what changes do I need to make right this second, or, the next major decision I have, I can see good or bad what the impact is on my plan.
It's hard to make those decisions if you don't see it all together. It really is. Like, should I increase my 401k contribution? And I have people ask me that sometimes about, like, should I be contributing to a Roth? Should I be, those like one-off questions? I'm like, well, I can't really answer that question if I don't see like more of what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people will call and be like, well, I have this extra money laying around. I want to know what to do with it. And you will be like, okay, well, what are you doing with your retirement plan? Like, what are you doing? Do you have life insurance? Like, what's your ask? And they're like, oh, I don't want to worry about that. Like, I just want you to guide me on this piece of money. And we're like, well, I don't know what your goals are, your values are. Like, I don't know if you're set up for success in retirement. That's like why you need all those pieces of the puzzle.
Most people they need to have that plan. And I know we use a lot of analogies of like, think of just going to the gym, right? Most people want to be healthier, right? But
They want to be fit.
Yeah. But if you just go to the gym and you're like, well, I'm just showing up, but not have a plan, probably unlikely that you're going to succeed to becoming a healthier person unless you start to really kind of get a detailed plan of what I'm going to do, why I'm doing it. And that's really what the financial plan does.
Well, and I think an important thing is your why. Like, why do we have this plan? What is important to me? What are my values? And like actually living by your values when life happens and these decisions happens. So like, like if it's your family or if it's enjoying retirement or if it's being able to help people when you retire, like actually knowing why we're sticking to this plan and to these goals is like your why. And I think that's why it's important to have a plan, because you are not going to hit these whys and you're not going to be ready to hit those goals if you don't have a plan.
And we do those one-off situations every once in a while. Somebody inherits some money and maybe they don't want it, or they have a different financial planner and they want to put that. We do that, but we've got to know more around that chunk of money, what you want to do with it. So a lot of times, in that situation, which doesn't happen very frequently, we'll at least have you bring in statements, and maybe those accounts are held elsewhere, but at least we get a picture of what is going on outside of this money, especially if it's a substantial amount of money that we want to make sure obviously it gets taken care of correctly. So it's not that we have to create a financial plan for everybody, and sometimes it's not a good match for us to put in the time to create the financial plan to do that, but a lot of times we need to know more than just, hey, I got 100,000. What should I do with it?
Well, even if we're not in charge of the other part of it, it's just knowing it allows for us to have a thoughtful strategy, like an actual good strategy to go with the rest of your plan.
If you're receiving guidance from a professional, in our industry, and you don't have a financial plan, what's the rationale on some of those recommendations, right? If you're not, receiving guidance from them, you're doing everything on your own, I'm sure you have some type of objective where you're wanting to go, but most of the time in our industry, if you're going to come and ask, hey, should I be doing Roth or pre-tax my 401k? And I know nothing about your income, like I can't just give you an answer. And I do think it's a misconception of how much time people have to participate to actually create a financial plan. And there's obviously a basic level, intermediate, and advanced. The more advanced you get in financial, the more time it's going to take on our end as the advisor, on your end as the client. But we can do a basic plan for most people that points out, a lot of just the simple answers that people are looking for. And obviously there's complexity things as people grow and their situation change, they probably move up to that intermediate or more advanced as they advance as a client with us. But it doesn't take a lot of time. You have to participate, be engaged, and I think most people can do a financial plan pretty quickly.
And if you build that foundation early with us, we can just add to it, because obviously a financial plan, we don't draw it up every time you come in. We have the basics already saved to the software, so we can just add things to it and shift things around. So the sooner that you start with us and we get those basics, and the more accurate you update it with us, the more accurate it's going to be when you be able to come in and make some changes.
And I was just going to say, this leads me to the next part, because yes, we do have do-it-yourselfers or people who are like in a banking industry and they understand it. But most people, and again, analogy, Jim, I can work out, but I don't understand the complexity of why this workout and this muscle goes with this and whatever. So how can I get a qualified plan? I think it would be by partnering with a great financial professional like one of you guys. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Or any financial professional that you are comfortable with. But I do think there's something that takes your plan to the next level when you work with someone that's obviously committed to your plan as much as you are.
Organization, right?
Yes.
I mean, I heard this, and again, we're full of analogies today, but the financial, the junk drawer, the junk drawer in your kitchen, right? That's kind of like, we have a lot of clients come to us and are like, hey, I have 17 different account statements. And they're like, can you just help me get this stuff? And that's kind of like organizing that junk drawer in your kitchen, your financial junk drawer. And not everyone is, got 17 accounts, but I do think that's a start, right? Always.
Or organizing, why do I own this? Or why is this amount of money going into this account? Or why am I not like that? You can, there's so many rationales with organizing. I think it's just one, putting your money to work in the right spots.
That's probably the biggest deep breath that I see clients take, is when I show them all of their accounts on one screen and they go, okay, that's what I see it now. I see all my accounts and what I'm contributing. It's so the organization part, like you can get all those statements together and put them in a folder, but until you organize it into the software and actually see what your balance is. And I just showed someone this morning their net worth, and they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. You got to put their house in there, their cars, and in all their different assets, and it shows a net worth, and they happen to be $1.5 million. They're like, wow, I never thought I had a net worth of $1.5 million. It's like, well, that's pretty cool to show somebody that.
I was just gonna say though, too, the junk drawer. Why is it always in the kitchen?
I don't know. Where else would it be?
I don't know, but the junk drawer, if you know my OCD, like the amount of times I rearrange a drawer in a month, like every morning I'll take like 5 minutes. I can't, like just knowing if it's disorganized in that drawer. That's how I feel with clients when they come in with their financial statements. I'm sorry.
I have a little, my 3-year-old, and I know you have one close to the same age. He has learned how to, we have some of the child locks on some of the drawers where like the permanent markers and scissors and stuff. He now knows how to open one of them. So, so we're in that stage where I'm like, we got to take it out of this drawer and put it somewhere out, like that scissor. Like I was outside and he had the scissors out, like cutting tape. I'm like, dude, you don't even know how to operate.
You know when Chelsea's out of town, right?
Chelsea was gone. She was for sure gone. Yes. So,
but my point is like, I get the same thing with a client when they come in, they're disorganized. The relief I feel for them, just helping them get organized, is a huge part of financial planning in my mind. So I think a next part that's really big is accountability. So maybe go into how you use that accountability with a client. Yeah.
So get a quality plan, accountability has got to be part of it. And that's where we were talking about this a little bit earlier. Like if we ask you for something or we ask you a question, we're not asking just to be nosy. Like we want to know that answer, or we want to get that balance. And so a lot of the accountability comes through on that. And sometimes when I get back to a financial plan and it's been, 6 months or a year since I've met with somebody, I'll be like, yeah, I asked you this question last year. I need, that's part of your financial plan. I kind of need to know the answer. So we have those things that are reoccurring that we do ask people about, but also, I mean, this doesn't happen very frequently, but if we told you we were going to do something and for some reason your plan doesn't show it, or we didn't do the update that it needed, that keeps us accountable too, to make sure we're updating your plan and what you're paying for, fees on your accounts, that we're putting in the work to do that as well.
I have a lot of people, I love the accountability side, because I think I don't think a lot of clients understand, like, we take pretty detailed notes after interactions, and we're constantly like, oh, they found this important, like, maybe life insurance. We're like, oh, we want to do life insurance. We're going to apply for life insurance this year. That's one of our, but we go a year from now and I'm like, hey, last time we did a financial planning review, we said we were going to apply for life insurance. Is that still important to you, or is that not on, it's one of those things or, hey, we're wanting updated liability balances. And we're like, hey, we were going to try to pay down that credit card the next 6 months, but the balance is higher than what the last time, what happened, what changes in spending. And now it might make people angry, and sometimes
I was just going to say it's a little uncomfortable. Like the accountability piece is definitely uncomfortable, but I think about anyone I appreciate in my life. Another analogy, a coach, like you appreciate the coach that's like hounding you to go shoot or hounding you to go watch film or whatever. And if you're not doing it, it shows. And when you're doing it, it does show. Like I work with both these. I know Cole Peterson will stay on top of you until you get him what he needs. I'm dead serious. And it's like, but I'm saying like at times it can be uncomfortable, or maybe just like annoyance, like, oh, he's still asking me. But we're committed. We want you committed. And it really is that accountability piece. Any good coach is going to hold you accountable if you really want to be successful in your plan. So on that, let's go to a little perspective. What kind of perspective do you give your clients, Cole Jaski?
Yeah, I talked about this a little bit with that emotional versus irrational decision, right? And that's something where the financial plan will help. Again, it's not going to make the decisions for you, right? You're still the driver, of the decisions, and but it will, hopefully the goal is to educate you, that plan educates you, like, hey, this does have an impact on, you told me you want to retire at 55, but we can't constantly be spending XYZ or taking money out of our, non-qualified account for, discretionary purchases that we aren't planning for. So it really puts, paints that picture, and it helps you take a little bit of the emotion out. There's always going to be emotion involved. Doesn't matter with money. Always going to be there, but it does. And it definitely, the people that can stay disciplined to that plan, the easier that, the long-term objectives to succeed there will be.
I think that really helps with one-time purchases.
Yep.
When people come to us and say, hey, we're thinking about this property down in Florida. If we took this much out of our account, we can make that, not make that decision for you, but we can show you what that decision is really going to impact your retirement. A lot of times, we can say, yeah, that's a fine decision, especially if you're going to make this much in rent and, in pay it all in cash or however you want to do it. But sometimes we have to have the difficult decision, like if you want to retire at, say, whatever age, this is not going to be good for your retirement in order to do this right now. So I would not do it. And we've had those discussions with people, and sometimes they do it anyway, even if we tell them.
It's your life.
Yeah. It's your money. You can do what you want to, but we're going to give you the best guidance we can to achieve your goals. Now, your goals, I've also had this conversation, like, yeah, you can do that, but now instead of quitting work at 62, we're probably going to have to work till 65. And sometimes people do that. That's a decision they want to make.
I think a good qualified plan is so proactive in someone's life, because life is going to happen to you, or you're going to want these purchases, or you're going to want to live this lifestyle. The point of a qualified good plan and working with someone is proactive, right?
Proactive or reactive,
yes.
Right? That's where, so the better you plan, the more proactive, or you can anticipate, whether it's, looking at the timeline of, hey, when I'm going to take Social Security, when do I need to be doing stuff for Medicare, or I'm going to retire early, what am I going to do for that, my health insurance before I can get on Medicare. And that's, we don't want you to be reactive after the fact. Like, oh, this life happened, I didn't plan.
'Cause it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And we can't plan for every contingency. You're never going to be able to, but the more you talk about it, focus on the plan, the more times life throws you crazy stuff, a curveball at you, the better prepared you're going to be.
And I always go back to the life insurance on that one, especially like younger families. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Like I had a client this weekend, her ex-spouse passed away, and they have 4 kids together. And I'm like, see, like, these are things you can't plan for, but a foundation of a good plan and like working with someone to keep the accountability to get these things done and keep them in order. Like, I think that's like the biggest partnership thing we can do for clients, is really just being there for them when life happens, and also just having the foundation of a solid plan to be proactive.
So you guys asked earlier, I think it was Cole Peterson asked earlier, does the Olympics or the USA team participate in every event? So the best answer I can find on Google is that they enter into every event. That does not mean they qualify for every event at the Olympics, but they attempt to qualify for every event at the Olympics.
We gotta find one of those that they don't qualify and become experts.
I'm really,
It's our way.
I was telling one of my good friends this week, I'm like, I think I'm gonna be a serious pickleball player. I've never played. We were walking by the pickleball courts, and I was like,
fun.
I was like, I bet I could be real good. Ben Egley was there this
It's
weekend
so
playing.
fun.
I saw him.
I really enjoy it.
See? All right. I know what I can do, so I never doubt myself. Usain Bolt.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole and Cole, the podcast of Full Swing Financial Planning. To learn more, visit their website at www.fullswingfinancial.com and follow them on Facebook and LinkedIn.
For now, I'm Cole,
I'm Bailey.
And I'm Cole.
and we'll see you on the greens.
4.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.